at least okay. Today's a Thursday, and we're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. I'm so determined. I also got like a little scrape here. I was like lifting something and I just went, it hit me in the face. It hit me. That's okay. Yeah, that song. I cry. And I'm late again. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. But we do have an interesting day. As long as I'm not being a little bit of an argumentative bitch. Sometimes I do that. And, today I've just been feeling saucy. And I feel bad. So it's been a day where I've been extra quiet with people because I don't want to cause problems. And then I have to come here and talk on Twitch. Okay, I'm here every day. Yesterday was really fun. I had a really good time. And I hope you guys had a good time too. You know, it was a vibe. Ah, man, Minimis. I wonder how that's going to affect things. Oh, Mark says, oh no, for you. Yeah, happy you guys. You guys get hella fucking entertained, and I'm just like being. Like, it's fine. I wonder if anyone else is like. It's alright, y'all. Hi, hi, George. Hi, George. I swear, I'm not going to be sassy. I'm not going to be sassy. I'm not. How are we doing except feeling saucy? Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I had a productive day, which is really nice. Chef's kiss. And I'm just like, trying to not be a monumental fucking cunt. Which is alright. It's quite alright, mate. Don't keep it alright. I'm so confused. Nice. How are you guys though? How is your guys' life? What is the happening? What is the going on? Trying to. My manager is messaging me. You're falling asleep. Oh, shoot. I figured out what's going on. If the internet's really rough today, it's because I forgot to put my Ethernet cord in. We've had like 1,500 meetings today. Vibes. Me too, bro. I'm kidding. I've had no meetings. You just finished washing your truck. Congratulations. I hope it feels nice. Was it warm where you're at? It was still kind of cool here. It got to be like 75, 80-ish. I'm so sorry. It was 74 here today. Oh, that's so nice. Give it to me. Give it to me. I want it to be that warm for a while. I was talking to my coworkers today and they were like, why are you wearing so many layers? And I'm like, because it's cold, y'all. It's cold. I'm freezing. Because inside, normally, in the building, it doesn't have good AC. So it can get up to like 85 degrees minimum in the room. Sometimes it gets up to like 90 some. And I was in there and it was like 70 degrees. And I was like, oh, so cold. Mike says summer's over. It's basically Christmas soon. Are you a Christmas guy? I'm not really like, I want to know, like, what's your favorite thing? Because I like Halloween. That's my thing. But the Minimis, or whatever, Minimis? I think that's how you say it. That's going to put a damper on all of my Halloween plans. I should have ordered things earlier. Oh, no, not really, no. It's just like teeing people's chains and stress them out a little bit. Hey, lucky for me, though, I don't have a ton of stuff to do for Christmas, which is really good. Do you have all of your gifts ready to go? I hope you do. I hope you do. I think I have most of mine done. So for like work, we always do, I guess supposedly we're gonna do like another white elephant thing, and I have no idea how that's gonna go. I don't think I'm gonna do it this year. Maybe I will. Who knows? No, I'm saving for the 2 days before Christmas panic. No! That's literally nightmare fuel, yo. No! That would stress me out so much. Man. Yeah. You gotta live a little, bro. That's not like a life that I want. Yeah, I say it adds a bit of excitement to life. I do not agree. I do not agree. That stresses me the fuck out. Well, you're not in America, right? No, you're not. Yeah, I think Georgia's, maybe some other people are in like America or whatever. But I'm stressed about Christmas gift and stuff. Nah, not 2 days before, maybe, but fucking 4 months before is crazy. What do you mean? I'm like, I get gifts all throughout the whole year. Like, I literally do that. Ollie came and went, hi, my. My might come and snuggle a little bit. He's been a little sassy today. Yeah. Sandy's feeling better. My is not feeling much. It's more of the same. What are you doing, Mr. My? Come here. Okay. Oh, and Siri's been hopping onto the top. Mark says I can agree on adding to a buffer throughout the year, but not actually committing to anything. Nah, I like the minute someone's like, oh, I think that looks cool, or oh man, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to have something like that. I'm like, yoink, and I get it. I try to make sure that it's something that I know that they would not return though, if I do buy it really early. Otherwise, sometimes like there's a couple month limitation or a couple weeks even with how soon you can return stuff. So if they don't like it, then I'm like, ooh. So if it's more expensive, I try to get it closer. Mark says, I don't know how many times I fucked up people's gifts to me just because I have no patience. What does that mean? Oh, but that's because I expect that people can have the same erratic behavior as me. As soon as you realize you want something, you just buy it. Oh, yeah, no, same. Or you make it. Amy says hi. I like to, I don't know. It's been hard having the Amazon wish list because I sit here and I'm like, I have to think about things that I want that would be helpful that I could like have and not feel bad about not buying myself. Then I realized that I'm really hard to give gifts to. Andrew knows that too. He gets frustrated. He's like, what could I give you? And I'm like, it's so easy. I like time. Time is kind of the thing. We do something together. George says, I usually pick out gifts between Halloween and Thanksgiving. Heck yeah, George. Be careful, though. The Minimis. Minimis? Minimis? Oh my god, do you guys see Bixby now? I've left all the boxes for them. I have a giant box that's in the dining room right now, or the dining area, and Mikey is obsessed with it. Hi, Bixby. Yeah, I know. I already have someone on my lap. You can come on my lap later. Yes, you can. Mark says, I find the question of what gift to me very annoying because if I actually say something everyone thinks is too boring to gift. What does that mean? I guess it's valid. Yeah, George cats do love boxes. Look at them. Oh my god. It's so cute. Oh, Siri wants to play. Mark says, so I just don't understand why they ask in the first place if they know they won't like the answer. Like, what do you mean? Like socks? Socks are like what would be boring? Yeah. Like, I tend to wish for simpler, like, QOL stuff, like disks for my PC or some server, sensors, electronics, and stuff I find enjoyable to tinker with. Yeah, and if they don't get it, they're not going to really, understand why. What? But because people don't have the same hobbies, they don't want to gift stuff like that, yeah. Tech stuff can be really complicated, too. Like, you have to be really specific. You have to be like, I want this specific thing. Or I want this type of variation. If you can't do that, then I want this, this, this. And then people are like, oh, you're being so picky. You're being like that. So, yeah, no, I get that. That's not a good thing to ask for. Not because people don't care, but because it's hard to understand. Because they're like, well, a lot of people, well, some people I know really like to customize the gifts that they give you. So like if you say, "Oh, I want a hair dryer or something," they might get you one that they think suits your personality. Like maybe there's so many different types, you know. And or they'll get one that has a specific color or something that you wouldn't normally get for yourself. Mark says, "Yeah, but I don't know what to ask for otherwise. It's not like I'm in need of something." Yeah, that's the hard part. That's the really awkward part, because, like, how do you ask for that stuff? I don't know. Hmm. I've been struggling with that. This year in America, though, it's going to be kind of rough. There's a regulation called, like, the Minimis, which I've said so many times. But long story short, it's a regulation that states that, commercial packages sent to the US that are under $800 don't have to pay like an extra fee. So that could be like tariffs or whatever. And it's expiring tomorrow, which more people are covering it because it's expiring tomorrow, but it's going to cause some issues with retail stuff. And I feel like a lot of people are going to, or a lot of companies are going to use it as an excuse to raise prices even more. Even though it's not super relevant, but this would be more difficult for people who do like crafty things and sell them on their own. They're going to have to raise their prices because they've never had to deal with that sort of taxes before. Yeah. George says, yeah, I'm the same. I really don't need anything. I know! It's frustrating. I don't know what to do. You guys are like, I guess that's probably why we get along, because we're like, oh well. Mark says, well, last year I managed to coerce my mother to buy me a small compressor I needed to clean my PCs and servers. Heck yeah. So it works sometimes. Well, that's the hard part, you know? Yeah. I usually, when I was a kid, no one really asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and when they did, I would just say something like that I knew wouldn't be like too much like of a burden. But then they'd never get me what I asked for anyways, which is like why I ask if you're not gonna like do that, you know? Whatever. That's my thing. Like, I put the time and effort to have different price points and stuff, even when I was younger. But yeah, I liked stuff like going to the movies or, you know, like doing something together. That's what I wanted as like a gift. Cause it's nice, y'all. I like it. Oh. Yeah, but anyways, de minimis is gonna like make things a little bit harder. So, let's see. I'll read the our lead part of the article. So the de minimis is Latin meaning something is trifling or of little importance, according to the U.S. International Trade Commission. Dating back to the Tariff Act of 1930, the rule has let people avoid paying import tariffs and taxes on items of small value and minimized customs processing, including inspections. It was never meant to be a commercial import rule in the first decade, says Larry Wallach, director of Rethink Trade Program at American Economic Liberties Project. Let's see. The U.S. de minimis threshold used to be $200. Packages worth $200 or less were not subject to taxes and tariffs. But in 2016, the country raised the threshold sharply to $800, which is why like the economy started doing a lot better around that time period. Like it, not a lot better, but it made things a little bit easier on consumers. And that with Amazon and all that crazy stuff made it so people could buy a lot of things and not have to worry about like it was just the market seemed a lot better at that time. And it was. Things were a lot cheaper and there was more money to go around. Let's see. One of the highest in the world, the spike came out of the Trade Facilitation and Trade Enforcement Act signed by then President Barack Obama. Online retailers, and this is a big reason why Trump was like, oh, see, like everyone can get more things, like it's so much cheaper, products are not as expensive. And it kind of like, not even kind of, it delayed a lot of not inflation. It just made it easier on the consumer. Inflation didn't spike as quickly and that sort of thing. Then COVID hit and then it was like, ugh. Let's see. Online retailers and express delivery companies backed the change, Walsh says. You are now sort of creating a loophole to all normal custom rules, including the inspection. The shift eased the way for the importation of products that would have otherwise faced hurdles, she says, from safety standards to endangered species laws and bans on forced labor. Let's see. Basically, Americans are everyone's favorite shopper, according to Griffin of the Consumer Federation of America. We buy lots of stuff, and so it does mean that it affects everyone as a result. The consumers, I should probably just show you guys this. I kind of forgot that I should do that if I'm like saying a lot of words. Saying a lot of words. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. U.S. consumers have enjoyed a flood of duty-free packages, but the de minimis system has also had some serious risks. It's created significant product safety concerns because low-value imports are facing minimal customs inspections, making it easier for unsafe or non-compliant products to enter the U.S. market. Counterfeit and unsafe products that have been reaching U.S. consumers include bicycles, bike helmets, hoverboards, and all that stuff, basically perpetuating the thing where people are like, oh, if it's made in like this country, it's going to be worse quality or whatever, and it's easier for, you know how people in the past like 10 or so years have been complaining about the quality of things just going super downhill, especially cheaper products? This is why. There's not as much of a standard for things, and like lead is, whatever. But that's also assuming that they test for all of that during import, which they don't. Because they're trying to, or at least he's talked about removing that in the past. People who want to keep de minimis rules say that benefits U.S. consumers in the form of low prices, but along with safety concerns, critics say it's unfair It unfairly favors foreign companies. Earlier this year, President Trump called the exemption a big scam. It's very important, de minimis. It's a big deal, he said in April. It's a big scam going against our country, and it's really small businesses, and we've ended it. We put an end to it. Let's see. This would be a route to avoid import fees, potential shipping delays, she says, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Buy domestically when possible. Let's see. Getting rid of de minimis will mean that packages get a more thorough inspection. Now this will all go through normal channels, which is much better for consumers, which it can be. The problem is the tariff thing. So I'm like 100% for having like more inspection with smaller packages and stuff in some aspects. I personally think that the tariff inclusion of it is very problematic because people who are having small businesses and that sort of thing, where they only had to get a small amount of products to sell to people. So like, let's say they're getting like $500 worth of supplies from a manufacturer in China or something to make lip gloss or whatever. They wouldn't have to pay the same amount of taxes and tariffs for it. But now they would. And that can be really hard for like up and coming businesses and like strangle them out. So the fact that he just let it expire and he didn't really try shifting focus onto, you know, building up all of the businesses and everything causes problems because yes, buying domestic when possible is really nice, but the caveat is almost everything that is domestic, you have, like, most of the components of it you have to buy from foreign countries. So if you are making clothes and you want to get some fabric to make something, it'd be harder to obtain the fabric here in America or source it from America than another country. And if you do want to get it from another country, you have increased prices associated with that, which is really annoying. Also, hi, Type 2. How are you? How are you? We're talking about economics a little bit. So I'm stressed about it as we have the approaching, finishing my spaghetti, hell yeah. But as the holidays are approaching, I've been really concerned about that. Like, how is that going to change things? And what's going to happen next? It's kind of stressful. Not even kind of, like, it's pretty stressful. I don't know what they're going to do. Also, you're not in America, are you, Type 2? It's just like a double-edged sword. Yeah, I'm from Nashville. Okay. Have you heard about it? De minimis? This minimis? De minimis? Not many people have heard about it. I guess because people kind of ignore it. But that's why, yeah, lots of countries have stopped shipping to the US. Yeah. Like, there's a whole halt in shipping right now. So, like, boop. Like, NBC. Boop. Back to it. U.S. shoppers' orders canceled as world shuts down some American-bound shipments. The end of de minimis exemptions for cheap parcel shipments, nearly a century old, is prompting countries everywhere to suspend shipments to the U.S., which is true. America first means America alone. I know. The isolation is kind of like, ooh. Because economically, this is causing a lot of problems. Because if you are not how do I put it? Like, I'm not an economist, just so you guys know. But I am. I used to buy Fancy Feast. I know. Look at the ad. Ah. But anyways, it's just I need to get like an ad blocker again. Not that I promote that for Twitch. Just saying. But yeah, it's going to make the value of the American consumer be a little bit less because things are going to be more expensive to bring in from other countries. So them canceling everything means that they're not going to prioritize America as much. And then what is America going to do? Because we don't have the ability to fulfill everything that was taken away. U.S. small business owners who source orders from abroad are also being affected. Founder of Third Person Co., a logistics group, such firms that may have been relying on low-cost shipping from products from countries like Mexico, Portugal, or Turkey now face new calculations. For small businesses that relied on cheaper shipping, the decisions involved with these new changes are really difficult to make. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at all these freaking ads. You. Why would a foreign post collect from a local business for a foreign country's customs? It's not something that anyone has done before. There. Yeah, it's just, it's going to be very, very difficult. Yeah, it is killing small businesses, true. And also, hi, Mr. Meows. Anything cat related, and you're just on it. Yeah, but we have Australia, India, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and New Zealand have announced suspensions. Mexico's Postal Service announced that it was suspending package deliveries to the United States because of the pending changes, which is today. This is like how I started learning about it. I heard about it before, but I had no idea that it was going to be that bad. How is your IKEA dessert? I didn't finish it. I'm going to redo it next week. I actually need to put it in my planner that I have to start it early. Oh. And my little freaking flyer. Oh, okay. I know. Next week I'll have. Oh my god, next week is September. Bye, goodbye. It's fine. Yeah. Also, hi Tanner. How are you? It's gonna be interesting. I am low-key pretty worried about it. Yeah, a lot of people who are into like anime and stuff are really worried. They're like, how am I supposed to get my shit from Japan now? Because it's gonna be too expensive to source when they start like adding stuff to it. Mr. Meow says, don't worry, it will be okay. Do you really think it's gonna be okay? Ah! My warehouse is in northern Mexico. Goods imported from China are repackaged into smaller parcels, each valued at less than 800, allowing them to enter the U.S. tariff-free under the Minimis rule, practice known as the Tijuana two-step. A trade economist and wrote in a column last year. Yeah. But this process of avoiding tariffs is what has kept things so cheap for so long. They're just playing politics, and the consumer has to deal with it, though. That's the problem. Also, Fancy Feast. But the consumer has to deal with it. Tanner says, I'm tired, so not going to stay long, just saying. Oh, that's okay. No worries. Oh, no. So, Mr. Meow says they're just playing politics. But what else? What else, y'all? We have this one. Kind of like a little stressed to see what's happening tomorrow. I feel like maybe Labor Day sales will be mildly affected, like online. I don't know. Like on Amazon and stuff, Bezos. Is it Bezos? I don't know. You got a 4-day weekend? Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god, my brain is so freaking tired. It's like deep fried. I had so much going on today. Jeffy Bezos. Okay, I was right. I was like, I believe it's Bezos. But yeah. Amazon is Bezos. I know, I had to double check. That's how tired I am, y'all. We're gonna have a good day though. Not gonna. I hope so. Yeah. So you think it's just a thing? Isn't Bezos a currency? I mean, he wishes it would be. I wonder if they got involved in banking. I think if he makes another trip into space, he'll finish his transformation. Yo! Hold up. Hold up. I have to show you guys this one trailer. I thought it was so wild, okay? Just so you guys know. I hope the volume isn't like insane. Let's see. There's captions. I'm gonna play it. It's for a new movie. It's called Begonia. And it reminded me of Bezos, okay?
Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Michelle.
I believe every company should strive to form a diverse table, to empower people of different skills and every time, what is it?
Skills and identities.
To foster a new generation of, okay, let's go again.
They want you to think it's you, that it's
Is this
you
about
who
what's
made
her
this
face?
world.
No, it's not. This is different. It's like a weird
But
word
it's always
thing.
been them. All we've lost, all that's been done to us, we're setting that right again. Greetings.
It's so weird.
Welcome to the headquarters of the human resistance.
Where's my hair?
Your hair has been destroyed to prevent you from contacting your ship.
What ship?
Your mothership?
Okay. In the next 48 hours, the police and the FBI will begin a statewide manhunt. I'm a high-profile female corporate executive. I am crucial. In all humility, I can say that. Think of it like you abducted the governor, but worse. There is no possible scenario where you benefit from this incident.
That was really good. My pulse is racing right now.
So
I've done a
weird.
ton of research on this. You're killing our planet.
Alien fellas.
I'm not an alien.
You're lying to me.
What's the difference? You know this is crazy.
Like what?
You know this is wrong.
I know who you are. I know what you are.
I know you too, Teddy.
It's fine. It's cool.
Isn't this so weird? Spoilers, she is really an alien. That's what people are saying. Okay, but you were talking about Bezos, and I was like, hold up. Hold up. I just watched this like right before we started, and I was like, do you think that someone's ever gonna like kidnap Bezos or do some weird shit to him? I mean, he has security or whatever. But I've been seeing more stuff like online in the weird parts of TikTok of people who have problems. And yeah, whew. People like that take their safety very seriously. I mean, yeah. Oh my god. But holy shit, it's gonna be so interesting. I'm kind of excited for it. It's probably, I hope it's not like CEO propaganda. I hope she actually is an alien, IMO, because that would make it better. But if she's just a normal person, then it's gonna be like, oh, poor CEO, going through the problems. But yeah, maybe they'll try to make her a good CEO for the vibes. It reminded me of The Matrix a bit. Really? Meow meow. I guess it's kind of sci-fi. But only if there's actual alien stuff. It doesn't really say that. definitely a damage control film. That's what I was saying. But it's from Joe Blow Movie Network. Focus Features, EL, EMNT, On Square Peg, CJENM. I mean, a lot of those are bigger names, so it's not like, it's not super chill. But it's, I'm actually kind of interested to see what happens. And I'm just like, damn. Sorry, you got me distracted. I was like, boop. Hi, Lily. Oh, Lily Leo. Let me guess you're a Leo. Tanner says she's a good actress, though, and him too, I believe. So, two good actors. I know. I hope that they carry it. I hope it's not bad. Sometimes it goes a little haywire and a little rough, and I'm like, damn. Rough, rough, rough. I hope they didn't sell out. What do you mean? Hey, the mothership is not supposed to be back until 2030. I know, I saw like a clip of the hair shaving and I was like, yo. Like how it was supposed to connect her to the mothership and I was like, bruh. That's not the vibe. That's not the vibe. I don't know. When you're on TikTok and you see like a lot of my TikTok and my feed is very politically like focused, and sometimes if you look in the comments you'll hear someone, you'll be like, oh, you know, they have like a good point with this, and then you'll see them and you'll be like, ooh, but like it seems just like a little off, and you click on their profile and you're just like, huh, maybe this will be good, and then they're just like, God sent me on a mission to like change all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. So it was her shaved hair that reminded you of Bezos a little bit, yeah? I was like, rich CEO, bald. Oh yeah. Lily says, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I mean, she's like Emma Stone though. Like she could pull anything off, honestly. She's just so iconic. It's so sour. What interview? For those listening, Mr. Meow asked, did you watch that one interview? Lily says, by the way, you seem like a really good streamer. Don't kiss up to me too much, Lily. Don't do that. Don't kiss up. Although I appreciate the compliment. Can we have some sour candy too? Yeah. It's sour streamers. I eat them when I game. And I just had them by my desk, so I was like, I'm gonna have some. She's not a good streamer, I have promised. Oh, how dare you? How dare you, Tanner? You know I'm the best. Lily says, do you stream daily? Yes. Almost daily. Sometimes I have like other stuff going on where I can't. But for the most part. A little bit, Mr. Meow. I had to pause it. Because I want to watch the whole thing in one go. Oh, thank you, Lily. That's very sweet. But yeah, no, I'm gonna, sorry to be dismissive, but thank you. Thank you for the follow, Lily. Welcome. One day you'll realize how cursed I am and you'll be like, whoa. I'm holding back because you're very nice. But no, I'm gonna finish the interview soon. I want to watch it all in one go, so I'm just gonna do it when I'm what do you call it? When I'm doing like chores tomorrow or like gardening. I'll have a lot more time this weekend because I was like, oh, this needs more of my attention because I thought I could just like split it up and I was like, no, I'm gonna need to watch the entire thing. So I'm not ignoring it. I literally have the clip up right now or like in one of my tabs. I have it ready to go. Ellie says, I'm also a streamer, but streaming's not my passion. Oh, dope. Charlotte's here. Oh my god. Hello, hello. We got a lot of new people. Oh, you're a designer. Nice. God, it's so sour. I'm gonna get the links up and ready to go. Oh, are you selling yourself to me right now, Lily? Dang. You have experience of 4 to 5 years? Okay. Will you ever do an IRL Nebraska school streams? Nah, I don't. Oh, ditto, Lily. I don't know. IRL streams seem like dangerous to me. If I had certain conditions would have to be met for me to feel comfortable doing like IRL streams. That's so bored. Well, I'm glad you let me know, Miss Lily. I think that's very cool of you to do that. Yeah. It's mainly a safety thing. My agrees. I don't know. Yeah, I've thought about it though. I really want to. I was thinking about doing it on my birthday. And sour candy looks like a cat. What does that mean? Oh my god. It's so sour. Oh, why don't you have some dope stuff on your channel? Bruh. I'm doing more emotes later, y'all. I'm working on designing my emotes, okay? But I know. I've been getting more of that recently. I've noticed that a lot of no, Mr. Meows. I literally have some design. No, stop. Don't engage, Mr. Meows. No. I do everything on my own, for the most part. And I have some emotes that I'll be dropping soon. I already worked on them, so that's why I'm saying you can't do that. Would you like to see some of my work? No, Lily, don't do this to me. No. I respect you, and I'm very happy that you're doing your thing, but I feel that there will probably be some other streamers that you'll be able to do. I hope you like my work. No, because I'm already doing my own thing. And there's going to be lots of other streamers who'd be able to appreciate your work more and be able to pay you for it. I won't be able to do that. One, because I do it myself. I do my own, like, animations and graphic work and design stuff and all that jazz. And then, two, just have like, no. I'm sorry. If we built up a relationship and you were here a lot, maybe. Not say to bye. Nope. I respect you too much to say yes. Sometimes I make for your emos too, but they suck. Hell yeah, Mr. Meows. I do admire your hustle though. And I'm proud of you for putting your work out there and doing what you can. Because it's hard. It's hard. So keep going. I believe in you. I just won't be able to take it from you. I won't be able to do it. I'm sorry. Okay. See, I do love you though, and I appreciate you hanging out. I also I've had people ask about this before, but I'm trying to keep my stream more simple. I know a lot of other streamers have lots of pop-ups and stuff like that, which eventually I will have. If I get to, like, I have benchmarks, so once we hit a certain follower count and all that stuff, then I start adding more things. Technically, I wasn't wanting to add emotes till I had like 300 followers, but you guys, I feel so bad because you're like actually subscribing and stuff, so I'm like, damn, I have to give you something in return. But yeah, after that, every 100 followers I have like another benchmark, and then once we hit 1,000, then I have like other stuff that I'll do, like for every 1,000, if we get there, God willing, Lamau. But you know, yes. Okay, I feel bad. I hope you have a good one though, Lily. Let's see. We were gonna talk about immigration today. Are you guys still wanting to learn about that? Are you still wanting to learn about it? I got 2 videos for us to watch. Only 2. Only 2. One of them is a more in-depth video, and I'm a little nervous to show it to you guys because it's actually kind of more intense and not normally what I show on my channel. It's basically like a mini lecture from a professor. What about immigration? Basically, about whether or not the title of the video is, "Are Americans eligible for asylum?" That's the title. And it's by Miss Leisha Miller, which she's actually been doing a lot better. She's done a lot of AI stuff to like help her work in the past, but so far it's been just a little bit better than it used to be. You love AI? Oh. Did you hear about the California lawsuit where the one dude is literally like, he killed himself because AI told him to, and AI told him how to do it too? And his parents are like, rightfully so, they're very upset, and they sued. No, you didn't hear about this? Hmm. Hmm. For my interactions with AI, they don't do stuff like that. It was a 17-year-old, yeah. Here's a link. But did you ask AI to help you with that? Because I feel like that's the difference. Trigger warning, chat. August 26th, Routers, the parent, I guess that's when it was posted. The parents of a teen who died by suicide after ChatGPT coached him on methods of self-harm sued OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman on Tuesday, saying the company knowingly put profit above safety when they launched a GPT-4o version of its artificial intelligence chatbot last year. Adam Rain 16 died on April 11th after discussing suicide with ChatGPT for months, according to the lawsuit that Rain's parents filed in San Francisco State Court. The chatbot validated his suicidal thoughts, gave him detailed information on lethal methods of self-harm, and instructed him on how to sneak alcohol from his parents' liquor cabinet and hide evidence of a failed suicide attempt, they alleged. ChatGPT even offered to draft a suicide note, the parents, Matthew and Maria Rain, said in the lawsuit. Let's see. The lawsuit seeks to hold OpenAI liable for wrongful death and violations of product safety laws and seeks unspecified monetary damages. Go straight to the source. Well, give me No, I'm not going to do that on ChatGPT, by the way. I don't really like ChatGPT. While these safeguards work best in common short exchanges, we have learned over time that they can sometimes become less reliable in long interactions where parts of the model's safety training may degrade, the spokesperson said, adding that OpenAI will continue to improve its safeguards. OpenAI did not specifically address the lawsuit allegations. OpenAI said in a blog post that it's planning to add parental controls and exploring ways to connect users in crisis with real-world resources, including by potentially building a network of licensed professionals who can respond through ChatGPT itself. Yes. Josie, we lost on pens to Grimsey. Fuck Grimsey, and now Kobe wants to leave the club. Absolute shit show. What are your thoughts? Bruh! Here's like a soccer thing. What are your thoughts? Me? I have no idea. Pusha did. What a game. Yeah. But anyways, it's kind of shitty, honestly. You ask ChatGPT, you have to keep asking it. You have to like coerce it. Because over time, it basically ChatGPT's entire thing is trying to make you happy. So it will give you whatever information that you ask of it in order to fulfill what you like need from it. So if you keep prying it and prying it and prying it, and you just rephrase it slightly and you're just like, well, how do I get this? How do I get that? Then it will give you what you want. Most of the time. It may use different lingo and stuff. Yeah. From my experience, it's really difficult to do all that. Well, then we'll have to wait and see the court case. Now, won't we? If you're not United fans, imagine if the cup, etc. But for me, it was worse than two girls went, bruh, chill. First, Messi v. Ronaldo. And now this. You can just run the jailbroken LMIS and run them on an LM Studio, language model studio with a reasonable gaming GPU. Language learning stuff is really very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. And it's very complicated in the sense that it's really hard to regulate. And sometimes, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of in the early 2010s when people were getting like the pro-ana content or like pro self-harm or mental health problem stuff content on Tumblr, Facebook, that sort of thing. It was crazy. Dari says that if you're feeling cool, you can use a Perplexity clone off GitHub if you want uncensored searches info from the internet. Ooh, I didn't really know that. Danger zone. It would make sense though. Oh yeah, Japanese detergent suicide. Bruh. Okay. Anyways. We are off topic for a minute. But today, we are talking about asylum. And how you can get asylum and stuff like that. As an American. Which this is something that is a little bit more complicated than most people make it out to be. A lot of people want there to be asylum for Americans in a lot of different ways, but there's lots of conditions. She doesn't hit all of the conditions that would be relevant, but I will show you a video after this that'll kind of go into the conditions that need to be met in order to be considered a refugee. Yeah. Daria says, you remember that they had instructions on mixing 2 common Japanese household items that would kill you in less than a second? Bro. Yeah. I'm not even surprised. You just have to ask, like, random questions, which I'm not going to tell you the questions that you should ask. And you should not say anything either, Darius, because I will mute you. I will mute you. But, yeah. Because I don't want to promote any of that. behavior here. That's why I try to be very cautious about how we approach this conversation, because it's kind of it's really hard, and I know a lot of people struggle. So, moving on. I'm gonna start playing the video. I'm gonna go take a whiz.
Hi, you're
I'll
tuned
be
into
right
Why
back.
America. I'm Legia Miller. Today is another How to Get the Fuck Out episode. Back in April, I made an episode titled, Is It Time to Leave the U.S.?
Kind of true.
It has 1.2 million views as of this recording. Clearly, the people, myself included, are thinking about this question. And one question within this question
There you
I've
go.
gotten
I hope
a
it's not too
ton
loud,
since
y'all.
then is whether U.S. citizens
That
would
is
have
true,
a
Mr.
valid
Meows.
asylum claim
It is
to
true.
gain
It
entry
all
to
depends on
another
how
country.
it's
Is America
And you
at
brought
the
it up
point
because you don't
where
like to
its
play the
citizens
game.
are
I
now
know, that's what I'm saying.
refugees?
We gotta
Today
move
we're
on.
talking about what it takes to qualify,
Yeah, we
whether
gotta
it's
go to the
realistic
other
for
subject,
Americans,
because
and I'm giving an update to the Get the Fuck Out
I wanna
meter
be
from my
cautious
last
about the
video
topic.
about this in April. Okay, so can you seek
Especially
asylum? First,
because I
major
don't really use
disclaimer,
AI.
I am not your lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is for
Or at least
educational
language
purposes
learning
only.
models
Proceed
often.
at your own risk. It is always recommended
also
to
really
seek
have
the
to
advice
pee.
of a licensed attorney before making any legal decisions. Do not put your fate in the hands of a video you saw on the internet, for the love of God. Okay, so as an asylum seeker, you would be considered a refugee, not an immigrant. That's an important distinction because there is international law and country-specific law that deals with asylum-seeking refugees differently from other at-will immigrants. So what's the difference? An immigrant is someone who is willingly choosing to move to another country of their own free will to live or work or reunite with family or what have you. They are seeking permission from the host country to enter and remain. They are asking to be granted privileges that the host country has complete discretion over deciding whether or not to grant. On the other hand, an asylum seeker, a refugee, is someone outside their own country of origin or habitual residence that is asking the host country for protection from persecution or serious harm. Under international law, seeking asylum is a human right. According to the UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, every person in the world has the right to apply for asylum if they are fleeing conflict, violence, persecution, or other serious events compelling them to leave their own country and seek refuge elsewhere. So can you, an American citizen, seek asylum in another country? Yes, it is a human right you have. You can do so at any time. But hold on to your britches because it's, of course, not a simple process. And even though there are international protections in place for refugees, qualifying as a refugee is very difficult. The country where you are seeking asylum will have a process known as refugee status determination, where it will be determined whether or not you qualify. According to the UNHCR, generally speaking, the process involves an initial registration or application stage, followed by a personal interview, and finally a decision-making stage where the claim is assessed and a determination is made. Okay, but who qualifies as a refugee? Again, this is going to be country specific, but international law provides a framework. In the wake of World War II, a lot of shit happened to try to ensure that nothing like that happened ever again. And those efforts have largely been successful for the last 80 years. One of the things that happened was the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees. The result of a diplomatic conference held in Geneva in the wake of the war. The convention was specifically aimed at refugees fleeing Europe as a result of the war, but then the 1967
It's
protocol,
hard,
the
Mr.
only amendment to that
Meows.
convention, was added
It's
to
hard. Not
expand
everyone has
refugee
the
protections
financial
across
ability
the
to.
globe. 149 countries are parties to the 1951 convention or its 1967 protocol. Those that are not are mainly located in Northern Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. Article 1 of the 1951 convention defines a refugee as someone who, quote, owing to well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group or political opinion, is outside the country of their nationality and is unable or, owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail themselves of the protection of that country, or who, not having a nationality and being outside the country of their former habitual residence, is unable or, owing to such fear, is unwilling to return to it. The central concept is that of non-refoulement, meaning a person should not be forcibly sent back to a place where they have a reasonable fear of persecution. And if you're like, wait, that's literally what the Trump administration is doing to immigrants, yes, you are correct. In 8 short months, the Trump regime has broken
This is very
innumerable
important.
international laws. What can be done about it? Nothing. International law has no teeth. Its main enforcement mechanism is naming and shaming the countries that don't comply, something that
Okay, but this is really, really important because a lot of people who are more conservative are like, oh, why is it such a big deal to turn away refugees? This is why. Because it's not even unspoken. It's literally an agreement that America has with a ton of other countries that we are going to accept refugees or people who are in need of help, unless there's like some very specific circumstances and conditions, which we do not meet any of them. Like if we were in active war and they were from countries that we were fighting with or whatever. But yeah. So Meow says, I had a family friend who worked with refugees. Yeah, I'm glad. You can get involved too with refugees. It's right now, it's a little harder because they have to vet you a lot more. But once you can work your way up to it. It took me about a year to really be able to be accepted and be included in work. I mean, he worked in the government with refugees. Oh, okay. What was their position?
Does not work when you have an administration that feels no shame. Often, the way news outlets report on a story differs depending on the bias of the publication, and it's difficult to know how
You're
your
not
own
just putting it
perception
on
of
morale
bias
basis,
influences
it's a
your
legal one?
interpretation
No,
of the
I'm
news.
saying both. I'm saying that morally speaking, duh, like let people in. But also, like most of the time, conservatives care more about the fine print and the less about the emotional ties or like the ethics, proposed ethics of a situation, and more like, is it going to benefit us or them? Yeah. It's not really a gotcha. Mr. Meow says he interviewed them to determine if they qualify for refugee status. Ooh, yeah. This is very valid.
This headline from the Associated Press
That's
caught
actually
my
really
eye.
interesting.
U.S. signs agreements with Guatemala and Honduras to take asylum seekers, Noam says. Basically, they're trying to get around international humanitarian and refugee laws with this one. Using the Ground News browser extension, I can see that in the U.S., the Associated Press is considered
you understand
left-leaning. To get a fuller picture of the story on all sides of the political spectrum, I can click on Full Coverage, which will show me coverage of the same story from publications across the political spectrum. My partner on today's video, Ground News, uses 3 independent monitoring organizations to assess the bias rating for each publication. Each news monitoring organization has their own methodology, including editorial reviews, blind bias surveys, independent reviews, and third-party research. These are legit independent organizations, but they are limited by the data available to them. Their analysis is done in the context of the US political system. Our Overton window has shifted so far to the right that the Associated Press is considered left-leaning in the United States. That tells you a lot about the context within which the media you're consuming operates. And thanks to Ground News, I get even more context, including how factual each publication is and who owns it, giving me a well-rounded idea of the motivations, biases, and accuracy of the news I'm consuming. Wouldn't it be great if everyone in America had that much information about the news they consume? Because depending on where you or your family members get the news, you're going to get very different takes on the same story. This is where Ground News comes in and why I've been using them for over a year. Today's partner, Ground News, is an app and website that offers tools to help critically analyze the news you read, providing context to understand the full picture. I feel better equipped to make sense of what's happening in the world without being influenced by just one perspective. But listen, I'm not the only one who loves Ground News. The Nobel Peace Center even called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and
you can just kind of like opt
I'm always
into it
really
and be like, hey, we agree with the treaty.
If you want to stay informed,
you don't have to like do a ton of formal paperwork, from my understanding. It's kind of like a, we will abide by these accords set in like 1951.
The features I've mentioned. Thanks, Ground News. So you have to have a well-founded fear of persecution, and that persecution has to be related to your race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular.
It's also important to mention that the specifics of that fear is not specified. So it's not that you'll be like hurt or whatever, or like what that would be. So each country has the ability to regulate those specifics a little bit more, if that makes sense. So like if a country says that, oh, there should be no fear of like, I don't know, like you shouldn't be afraid of like your government doing whatever to you because our government's similar and we don't view that to be a problem. They're not necessarily well within their right, but they have more leeway in what they say. So it's like international law, no one really cares if it's not enforced. Yes and no. It's like an unspoken, yeah, it is, pretty much. But most regulations for most countries are actually based off of this. America's was based off of this for a really long time.
Particular social group or political opinion,
Up until
and you must be
now.
outside your country of nationality, and you must be unable or unwilling to return. But if we're putting on our little legal hats here, there are certain terms in there that require defining. Specifically, what is well-founded fear? What is persecution? As you may guess, this is exceptionally
I should just let her go a bit.
Each applicant is going to be looked at individually, at least in theory, to determine their specific situation. In order to determine whether the fear you feel is well-founded, the asylum officer is going to look at the facts currently present in your country, as well as the evidence you present of why you feel the fear that you do. This doesn't necessarily require that you personally have been persecuted. Your fear can be based upon the persecution of your family members or other similarly situated individuals. Each country may have its own specific definition or set of guidelines for determining what fear is well-founded. Persecution can mean danger of torture, a risk to your life, or a risk of cruel and unusual treatment or punishment. This persecution can be meted out by the state or arms of the state, but it could also be non-state actors doing the persecution, while the government cannot or will not intervene to give you the protection you are owed. You apply for asylum at a port of entry, like a border crossing or an airport, or you can apply when you are already inside the country with which you would like to apply for asylum. Unlike traditional immigration and visa applications, you cannot apply for asylum from outside of the country you are attempting to flee to. When you make your application with the immigration authorities, you say, I have a fear of persecution in my home country. I am seeking refugee status. You state what.
And it's important to mention that this is specifically being applied to American regulations. So your country is probably going to have a lot of different stuff. So Doris, when you say there's a lot of horse trading done in the EU with refugees, if you take X amount from another country will invest, etc., it's fairly unseemly. That's true. But that's how we've basically done stuff since Gaddafi fell in Libya, as he wouldn't let people cross. And a lot of that was based on his son playing for Perugia in Italy. You should send me some links on that because I'm really curious. That's actually really interesting. But yeah, most of my understanding is based off of like America, Central America, and like war-torn refugees that are coming to America. It's just the Americas, you know. Some immigrants from Western Asia and Europe, yeah, some Africa and that sort of thing, like North Africa, but for the most part, it's that kind of all USA related for me.
Persecution may be violence, risk to your life, risk of cruel or unusual treatment, and you show that fear is well-founded because, and then provide all the evidence you can of why your race, religion, political opinion, nationality, and or membership in a social group like women or people of a particular sexual orientation or gender identity puts you at risk of said persecution. That evidence could be documentation of other people like you being persecuted, news articles, data, statistics, video, reports, etc., and or evidence of your own experience of persecution, threats, time in detention, etc. And while you have a right to seek asylum, you are not entitled to it unless you can prove that you need it. So the onus is on you, hopefully with the help of an asylum attorney, to gather the evidence and present your case. Get your story straight, collect the evidence, print it out, have it on hand, contact an attorney.
Thank you.
An attorney will provide a consultation and be able to tell you, based on your specific situation, whether it's worth pursuing, and will help represent you at the asylum hearing or gather evidence or whatever else you may need. The UNHCR has resources at help.unhcr.org. You will want to find an asylum attorney in the country where you are seeking asylum. So for example, since Canada is very popular for Americans, I Googled Asylum Lawyer Canada and found the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada's list of legal aid offices in each province. That's where I'd start. But be sure you have gathered everything you can to make your case before contacting the lawyers in order to get yourself set up for as much success US as possible. But will you be successful? I can't give you an answer on that because things have been moving so fast in the US over the last few months in terms of erosion of rights and democratic norms. International law and asylum law in this area is relatively untested based on current on-the-ground realities. Even the standard documents and information that asylum evaluators look at aren't up to date at this point. For example, in Canada, they use national documentation packages as a standard set of information that evaluators can look at in addition to your individual application to determine the situation on the ground in your country and whether your fear is well-founded based on international human rights data. One of the resources listed is the Freedom House Freedom Index. The US gets an 84 out of 100 on that index, a relatively high freedom rating. That rating has not been updated based on what's happened in the last 8 months, and it likely won't be until next year. 84 out of 100 certainly isn't an impressive score for a country that touts itself as the free world. There's nearly 60 countries ahead of us in line on that score, compared to Canada, for example, which gets a 97 out of 100 and is tied for 5th place. But being mostly free doesn't necessarily give you a great argument that generally the US is not a safe place to live and generally your rights are in danger. At least not based on data that people have had enough time to collect and tabulate at this point. You will need to find a lawyer willing to help you make your case without there being many successful case studies to look to for support. I found an article from Capital News Service from 2023 talking about a study conducted by Jayesh Rathod, a professor of law at American University. According to that paper, between the year 2000 and 2021, 14,000 asylum applications had been made by U.S. citizens to other countries. 75% of those applicants were in Canada. Some were from political dissidents, people like Edward Snowden. Some were domestic violence survivors attempting to flee their abusers. Many were cases of families where the children were U.S. citizens, but the parents were immigrants who feared deportation and family separation, especially during Trump's first term. According to the article, quote, "The United States makes for an interesting case because persecution does not exist equally across the country. Someone can move between states and find different levels of legal and social acceptance. Given the patchwork, most American asylum claims fail. When asked how often these claims succeed, Rathod said, not very often. Of the 14,000 or so claims that were lodged by U.S. citizens from 2000 to 2021, fewer than 400 were granted. This data is, of course, from before this second Trump term, which is absolutely more effectively eroding democracy and protections for certain groups in ways that are just beginning to be measured. According to Reuters, more Americans applied for refugee status in Canada in the first half of 2025 than in all of 2024. That number, 245 claims, is still minuscule compared to the total of 55,000 refugee claims made in Canada so far this year, but it is growing as more people are desperate to leave and the government is giving us more and more reasons to fear for our safety. Another note about—
It's also important to note, because she didn't really mention this, one of the conditions to, like, that's been recognized by international law, the thing that happened in 1951, blah, blah, blah. One of those conditions is that if you want to be a refugee in a certain area or a certain country, you would have to prove that you couldn't move to a different region of your country and be safer there. So of the cases that have been accepted of refugees and stuff like that, that are American to other countries, they would have to meet that condition of being unsafe in almost every single state in the continental United States. And sometimes, to my understanding, they would also include Hawaii or possibly Alaska. But since they're hard to navigate to and they're very expensive, I feel like it would make sense, you know, for you to not be able to go there and have that be included. But anyways, Daria says, so when Syria fell, there was huge issues where there was no block anymore, and there was lots of dodgy people within the actual refugees. We were warned by all of our allies in the Middle East not to touch them with the barge pole, i.e. the Saudis and the Emiratis, etc. Interesting. I'm going to have to do a lot more digging on that too.
Canada is that there is a treaty between the U.S. and Canada which designates the U.S. as a safe country. So anyone crossing into Canada at a land border with the U.S. who is seeking asylum will be turned away. The idea being that you can't come from, say, Mexico, cross through the US, and
This
then
is
seek
what we were
asylum in
talking about
Canada.
before.
You have to seek asylum in the first safe country you enter, in this case, the US. So if you live in the US and are trying to cross into Canada to seek asylum, you can't do it at a land border crossing. Talk to a lawyer, though. Okay, so what does this mean overall? The United States is a very difficult place to leave and seek asylum in another country as of right now, despite the horrors, unless you have specific evidence of your own persecution. It's not impossible.
Which
literally,
Trump, I believe, in the past has referenced how he wants to get rid of that, like, agreement with Canada, but I don't know if he's actually going to. This was, I believe, in his first term, when he was, like, talking about building the wall and stuff like that, and obviously it didn't happen.
hundreds of people have done it. It's just going to be very, very difficult. On top of that, if you seek asylum in Canada, for example, and your asylum application is denied, that bars you from seeking asylum there again in the future.
Also very
so
important.
The reality is that if you want to leave the United States, seeking asylum should be your absolute last resort. Being an immigrant generally makes you very vulnerable. Being an asylum seeker makes you even more so, because you have to go to the country first and hope that they accept your application. So if there's any way you can get in somewhere without relying on refugee applications, I would go that route. How do you do that? Here are some options. Citizenship by descent. If you have family from any other country in the world, that's what I did. Create a MyHeritage.
You will also be denied refugee status if you have family living in a considered, like, safe space or a safe country where you'd be able to move there. You'll also be denied citizenship. There's lots of, like, conditions, right? You'll also be denied, not citizenship, but, like, refugee status and that sort of thing. I apologize, I'm pretty tired. You'll also be denied refugee status if you have a partner who is from a different country. And they'll just expect you to move that to that country with them, especially if it's considered safe or safer than the country you're from. It doesn't have to be the safest country, but it has to be safer. So that's the condition. And a lot of people do leverage having, like, family in other countries or a partner from another country in order to leave their country and go to a different one. Well, let's see. Doris says, it's wild to think that in the 50s this was seen as a right-wing thing to get cheaper labor into a country, and the left's trade unionists campaigned hard against them. I didn't really think so. I thought this was more of, like, an agreement thing. But I guess America's position on it is probably different than yours, like, as a European.
Account, talk to your ma or your auntie, see if anyone has any intel on if anyone from your family came from where and what and when and whoops. If you're a descendant of enslaved people, your lineage can be hard or impossible to track, but there are some countries where you don't have to. Benin and Ghana both offer citizenship routes for people of African descent generally, something that can be proven with a simple DNA test. Spain is one of the most accessible countries to get into if you have your eyes on Europe. If you are a national of a country in Latin America, Andorra, the Philippines, Equatorial Guinea, Portugal, you can get citizenship in Spain after 2 years of residency. To gain residency in Spain for 2 years, you need a valid residency visa, which comes in a number of forms. Student visas, a business visa to open a business in Spain, a digital nomad visa, where you can work remotely in Spain. For those who aren't nationals of the countries I listed, you can gain permanent residency in Spain if you are there as a legal temporary resident for 5 years, which is similar for a lot of European countries. The digital nomad visa in Spain is good for 3 years and then renewable for 2 more, which equals 5. You have to show you have 3 years of experience in your given field and make about 30,000 euros a year to qualify. Madrid is expensive, but there are smaller towns in Spain with incredibly accessible living costs. You can move to the Netherlands and start a business and get a visa that way. You can get a student visa. Norway and Germany have many universities that are free.
I see what you mean, Darius.
If I had 0 options, I would apply for a free university to study whatever skill is in demand in that country and find the cheapest flight there. The Technical University of Munich charges 85 euros per semester. I found a $372 flight from Minneapolis to Munich. Once I got there, I'd find the first customer service job I could pin down, get a few roommates, and make it work. Other options include teaching English as a second language, or working as an au pair or nanny for some wealthy family, both of which offer lots of opportunities.
Was that not a joke about the person in the video?
It's not easy. You won't be handed an opportunity. You'll probably cry a lot. But people do it every day, whether it's to come here to America or increasingly to get the fuck out. The ultimate choice,
In
because no
comments.
matter what, it is a
It's not
choice,
really funny.
comes down to which hard you want to choose. Living in an increasingly autocratic regime or existing
I'm
as an
here.
immigrant in a foreign country.
Yeah, I've
There
been
is no
hearing
easy
you.
choice, and the one that is right depends entirely on you. One caveat in all of this, something I see a lot in the comments whenever I talk about leaving the United States, is from disabled folks who feel trapped and like they have no options. And I just want to say I see you, and it fucking sucks, and it's not fair.
My May
I have done
says make
so
a
much
new
Googling, as I'm
account.
sure you have too, to try to find some secret trap door to pull open for you guys, something where I can say, hey, actually, here's the secret. There you go. Unfortunately, I have not found that. If you are disabled and unable to work and you don't have a bank account overflowing with cash, your options truly are limited and mostly bad. That is deeply unfair and infuriating. I'm infuriated for you that this country has failed you and that the world is fucking cruel. Just living in this world with ADHD often feels like I'm fucking trapped inside my
one
body and my stupid
conditions.
brain
I
that doesn't
can't
work
help
right. So I can't imagine the immense fury and hopelessness that you might be feeling right now. I wish I had a solution to offer you on a silver platter, but I don't. But I did want to acknowledge that. If you do have that magic solution, please leave it in the comments below. And if you're in a red state right now and trying to get to a blue state, I'm in Minnesota and truly wouldn't want to be anywhere else in this country right now. You can still find studio and one-bedroom apartments to rent for under $1,000. Groceries, rent, gas prices have not skyrocketed here like they have
What do you
elsewhere.
mean,
We've been
Darius?
investing in public transit, and we, at least for now, have a local government that seems to give a shit about providing its people with social services. And I know that's also not accessible for many, but anecdotally, I have heard that just moving from a red state to a blue state can be an incredible improvement. And living just a 6-hour drive from the Canadian border does offer at least a glimmer of some peace of mind. And as for my get the fuck out meter from back in April, in my personal assessment, anyone not in the you're fine category, so like white cis Christians, should consider themselves in the get your shit together category or higher. Make sure you have a passport. Make sure you have copies of your birth certificate and your marriage certificate. Get an apostille stamp on them. Just Google apostille and your state to find the government entity near you that does it. It's spelled like apostille.
This is actually something that's like very, very important for everybody. Like, I've been updating a lot of my documentation as of late, and that's something that I need to do still. Especially if you ever plan to leave the country, work in a different country or something like that. It's very important to have that, especially like as an immigrant, or if you plan on doing educational stuff out of the country or whatever. It's just very good to have, even if you're traveling.
Apostille, according to the lady at my Secretary of State's office. It's French, I don't know, but having that stamp on your birth certificate and other official government documents is required by some countries to ensure the validity of the document. Just take a moment to have a think on what you would do if you decided you've had enough and you don't feel safe and you have to flee. I'm not necessarily saying a go bag, but like a concept of a plan. Knowing your options isn't a bad idea, and it's not an overreaction.
Have backups
and if
for
you
your
can't leave,
backups,
consider this your daily reminder to know your neighbors, lean on your community, and do what you can to ground yourself in the present moment and make connections with the people you have around you. If you want to support my work, all of these episodes are ad-free over on Patreon, patreon.com/Legia Miller. Thank you to my multi-platinum patrons, Mark, Sarah Shelby, Art, David, R.H., Latranger Lucas, Thomas Johnson, and Tay. Your generosity makes this channel what it is, so thank you.
Num 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 num. All right, now to answer your question. Well, I actually do have something to say first. So this is really important to acknowledge and understand, especially if you are from America. And I'm not going to go into all of my backup plans, like in case something were to happen. But if you live in America and you're younger and you're part of any group that could be targeted by Trump or whatever, it's very, very, very important to do this. Like for me, I have one of the, I have an upper hand because I'm white, which feels really awkward to say, but it's true. Like, so sorry, my throat's a little bit sore, but it is true. Like, because I look the way I do and stuff, I can get away with just being here a lot more than other people can. But you were mentioning like ADHD and stuff like that. Like, yes, I do have ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was like, you know, a teenager, that sort of thing. But yeah, not everybody has it. I don't know if most people have been diagnosed, but I got tested like I took the test twice just to be sure, and it's something that I found out later when I was an adult, that all the way back to middle school, my teachers were trying to pressure me to get tested for ADHD and stuff like that. My family just, whole different thing. But yeah, I didn't get to get tested until I could pay for it on my own. And I made sure to get tested twice by 2 different providers to be sure that it was an official diagnosis. But yeah, not everybody does that. But no, I don't know. Some people have it, some people don't. Adari says it's more about undiagnosed people claiming they have ADHD. It seems to be an epidemic from Americans. Everyone claims it, especially on the internet. Oh my gosh. Not as much anymore. Ever since Trump came into office, and there's been more of a like online spaces have trended to be more conservative or conservative accepting, or at least more centrist. Less people have been trying to like cosplay other disorders, which makes me really happy, in my opinion, because it's hard to find support when there's so much misinformation about ADHD out there, especially like other things that I struggle with, like PTSD and stuff. Like, I'm in recovery with my PTSD, or at least remission, I guess is what they say. And it hasn't really affected me that much. Like, obviously, stuff happens, but it hasn't been bad in a long time. It's taken time to get there, but yeah, it takes a lot. But long story short, the more people who just like speculate online and then they take a label without really taking the time to get diagnosed or talk to therapists or do that sort of thing, it can be hard, because the main problem is the symptoms, not necessarily the diagnosis. And people, yeah, it's just how it is. So if you're not sure, treat yourself for the symptoms that you have, not necessarily via like a diagnosis and be like, oh, I have XYZ, because that's just not healthy. It's just LARPing in place of a personality. I wouldn't say it's that necessarily. I would say that people don't understand that ADHDs, or I guess like, they don't understand that what they're talking about is an actual disorder. They just don't get it. But yeah, here in America, we were talking, I guess RFK Jr. has been talking about making a list for autistic people or people with disabilities and stuff, to figure out why people have disabilities and everything, which we've talked about a little bit before, which is why I want to mention it. But people who are disabled and have been diagnosed have been talking about literally just leaving America, because if it gets really bad and you can't get the resources you need to care for yourself, you're going to fail in society. So you have to move to a country where you can be successful. What, a national autism list? Yeah. Randall says they wear it like clothing, Josie. I don't know. I've never been someone that's like, oh, I have this, I have that. Like, it's something that I was honestly really ashamed of for a really long time. Like, I've talked about it a bit online, but it took me a long time to like get to that point. Adari says, fucking hell, that's so busted. I know. It's like concerning, which is why I'm talking about like how people would be able to leave America if that were to happen. Like, obviously, they would say that you should go to a state where you do have those resources, but it won't be available for everybody. Randall says PTSD, the mental effect that plagues a large percent of the population but goes undiagnosed. Yeah. Well, it's because there's so much shame and stigma behind it too. Just like any disorder. It's a literal disorder. You have to get help for it. Otherwise, you will fail. And you can be in remission for your PTSD, and contrary to popular belief, you can actually recover from PTSD. Like, you can have it so it does not affect you. Some people view it to be like a remission thing, but there are people who have recovered, especially from lots of different things. It just takes dedication and a lot of rewiring. And that is a whole different conversation that can be really controversial, because people with a lot of PTSD or with like you know, like an eating disorder or something like that. Those are things that you can be fully recovered from where you don't relapse, like ever. Which I know people who are actively struggling are going to be like, oh my God, no, that's not possible. But ADHD is different because you're born with that disability. PTSD is something you acquire through time. An eating disorder is something you acquire through time. So I wish there was different terms for it. It'd make it better, but yeah. Some things you can recover from. But the reason why like ASD, autism spectrum disorder, that is something that people are really concerned about, is because they view it to be something like PTSD or like an eating disorder where you can technically fully recover from it instead of it being like ADHD where you are kind of stuck with it when you get the diagnosis. Like, it's not something you can ever get away from. Like, no matter any problem I have in my life, my ADHD will always be there, and it is something that I have to do my entire, like, I have to schedule my entire life around it. Like, I don't get to do normal people things. And it impacts everything. Like, it just does. And it sucks. But yeah, you have people who just don't even believe it either. Daria says trauma-focused disorders are wildly different to neurodivergent stuff. I'd have thought that it was fairly understood by the general public. No. No. Not at all. Especially not in America. People here in America are so overly dismissive of trauma. Like, think about school shootings. We literally had a school shooting yesterday. There are streamers right now that are covering the school shooting that happened yesterday in a Catholic school. And every time there's an incident like that, there is at least someone acquires like trauma. Some people can have a support system that prevents them from acquiring PTSD from that trauma, because what causes PTSD is going through a horrible event and not having a support system that can guide you through that. That is what causes PTSD. That is what causes any trauma to be long lasting. If you have no support constantly, that's what causes CPTSD. So until you can rebuild, I don't know. That's like a whole different thing. I'm not going to dive into that. That's like a whole different conversation. But yeah, it's just something that's so common here in America that people don't even recognize it as like a thing because they can't like accept that life can be without that, or that people don't have support and stuff. Most people, if not everybody, views their own, like the world around them through the perspective of their experiences. It takes a lot for someone to be like, okay, let me detach my emotions and my worldview and actually absorb the information that's being given to me. Daria says, TBH, I find it very difficult to cope in the American school system. It's so fucking wild that there's one a week or something. Yeah. I don't know. It's why I do online schooling. So I've been doing that because there's been, even when where I teach and stuff like that, like there's constant security. Otherwise, I would not be teaching. Like I would not do in classroom things where I am teaching anybody if I did not have that. Because it's just, I don't feel comfortable not having security. I don't feel comfortable not having like I don't even feel comfortable being in a traditional school setting. I know eventually I'll have to, but it just stresses me out. Daria says, I think we've had that once, maybe 50 years, and bizarrely, Sir Andy Murray was one of the survivors, bruh. We've got different issues with knives, though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we've talked about this quite a bit, yeah. I don't know, and that's why refugee status is becoming more and more wildly accepted, or at least other countries are considering accepting Americans as refugees because of what's been going on as of late. That's not good. There's no bueno. There's no bueno. You don't know Andy Murray, the tennis player that won Wimbledon twice in the Olympics? No. I'm so bad with names, yo. I'm really not good at that. Yeah. I do have another video that goes over the laws and regulations that we were talking about, but we can also continue this conversation. It all really depends on what you guys want. I will, like, towards the end, like, send you the link just to be sure. To be fair, I might be able to name 10 American sports people at most. Yeah. I don't know. Sports are very cool and they're very interesting to me. But I don't necessarily, like, I don't get as invested in it, mainly because I don't have the time. And I'm not around a lot of people who are as invested in it anymore. No, I'm not British. I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me just piss you off real quick. Sorry, mate. Anyways, no accents, please. Oh, bro, what you mean? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Ooh. You're gonna pull a knife on me and be like, no. But yeah, it's quite a lot. So here in America, what could put people in a position where they might be able to have refugee status is if the Trump administration or MAGA decides to impose more regulations and controlling measures on people who are disabled. Because ADHD is a disability. It makes it hard to do stuff. Like, it literally does. Have you ever seen M to the B, the one Bella Poarch got famous from? I think so. I guess so. But yeah. No, I don't want to watch. No. No, don't distract me. Later, sir. It's a music video. No. I've heard of the M to the B thing, the one on TikTok, and that was it. It was like the most liked thing for a while, wasn't it? What does she even do now? I don't even know. But yeah, what other conditions would have to be met for people to be allowed to be refugees from the United States to another country? Losing the ability to have free speech, that would be one of them. Having it be conditional per region wouldn't necessarily work if it was at least as much if it was federal legislation, because federal mandates and legislation overrides state mandates when it comes to public information, especially that one ruling by the Supreme Court that happened, I believe it was very recently, stating that if a state wants to go against what the president like says, like an executive order or something like that, I don't know if it's been ruled upon yet. I think it has been. Let me like look this up in a second. But long story short, is if a state doesn't want Trump to have like an executive order or something, and their judge vetoes it and says like no, like you have to pause everything while this has to go to court, it would only be for that state instead of it being for the entire country. When a judge pause an order for the entire A Supreme Court ruling in 2024 has significantly restricted the ability of federal judges to issue such sweeping nationwide injunctions, potentially eliminating their scope. Yeah. Let's see. There's so many things. I'll have to dive more into that one because I don't remember how that went. It's a music video. A Blackpool grime scene is one of the funniest documented parts of mid-2010s Britain. Bruh. I don't know a lot about that one. Oh, this was June 27th, 2025. Yeah, it was a 6-3 ruling in June let's see, Trump's executive orders and any other actions, many of which have been blocked or temporarily put on hold through nationwide injunctions. The ruling, blah, 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 blah. Oh, wait, here it is. In a sweeping ruling, the Supreme Court limited the ability of federal judges to block executive actions throughout the country through nationwide injunctions, greatly affecting how parties seek judicial relief going forward. This is not really a shady link or whatever, or source, but it isn't like the most popular source for everything, but it is accurate, so I'm gonna give you that. Hydrate. I just ran out of water, bruh. I just ran out of water. But yeah, that has made it so America no longer has, like, the same freedoms, you know? Oxidane intake, bruh. Bruh. That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, this makes it so that states are going to be very, very different. And because of that, I think it might be harder for some refugees or people to get refugee status, but it may also make it easier in some aspects. It's really weird. It's very, very, like, the American legal system right now is chaos, which is why I feel a lot of countries are just, especially ones that would be willing to accept American refugees, are trying to sit and wait and see if this is a long-term thing with Trump, or if it is something that's just going to be with Trump as a whole. Like, is it going to be a MAGA thing that continues for decades, or at least post-Trump, or is it just going to be the next, like, 3-4 years? Which we already know that he wants to run in 2028. Like, they're making merchandise that they're giving to the public and everything. His representatives are talking about that as well, which is like a whole thing. Like, tons of, like, MAGA people that are close are just like, MAGA 2028. He's talking to a lot of, like, authoritarian leaders in other countries who have been able to stay in power a lot longer than they should have, aka like Putin, and the list goes on and on. It's shady at best. But yeah, it stresses me out because a lot of people who should be getting refugee status from America to other countries probably won't get it until we figure that out. And that's going to be a while. But there's hope, I guess. Iowa, yes, the corn-fed people are, I'm sorry, but they elected a Democrat representative in a emergency election that happened within the past week, or at least this past month, which was very impressive. That usually never happens. Most states are having more Democrats or left-leaning people being elected, and they don't even have to try, because a ton of people are like, what the fuck is Trump doing right now, which is really stressful. But we're going to have to see how it is. We're going to have to see how all of it goes, because there's a lot of controversy online with Democrats and shit. But obviously people are just so scared about what Trump's doing, and they're really upset. So they're just going to vote for anyone who opposes him, which may bite them in the ass. We'll just have to wait and see. Do you see my right now? He's being so cute. Also, I have like a stain on my shirt. Do you see that? I tried getting it out. It's just, I don't know what it's from. I think it's sweat or something. It's not actually sweat, by the way. It was a joke. Hi, Sandy. No, Sandy. Sandy says hi, y'all. And Mai is so distracting. Holy shit. He's like, he's so cute. But yeah, I've been pretty worried about it for a while. I've been thinking about, I'm not going to tell you all the things that I have, like, conditions I have put in place for myself, but that's part of the reason why I'm going back to school and everything, because I'll need certain, like, qualifications in order to feel secure in my future. But I don't know, because of the work that I do, I don't really know. I really don't know what's gonna happen. So being here in America right now is pretty fucking stressful. Mr. Meow says I'm back. Hello, Mr. Meows. Hello, hello. My cat was like, because I call him Mr. Meow Meow. Meow Meow! He talked back. He's so cute. I love him so much. Yeah, I'm glad you're back. I hope all is well. I need to message my manager after this. I literally love that emote so much. I want to do GIF emotes because I'm like working on emotes right now. And apparently you can't do the GIF emotes immediately. You have to do like regular emotes at first. It's just like, ugh. But yeah. Can you have a no French emote? No! Okay, so here's the thing. The original emote that I made was not up to Twitch guidelines, and it got mad at me because it said "you suck." And it was like a little star, and it was so like early 2000s and 90s coded, and I was so into it. I was like, fuck yeah, this looks great. And I spent like 2 hours on that motherfucker, just like drawing it, and just drawing it alone, and then sizing it. And this was just a picture. And I was so hyped. I was like, this is going to be so cute. And then they were like, no, it can't say you suck. I just print it out and hold it up when you need it. I know. I'll probably have some other stuff too. Maybe like, hmm. Let's see. Hmm. I'll probably do, I don't know, I don't want to give it away. Yeah, I'll have at least one or two. I want to have like unique emotes, which means I want them to be kind of like shitty looking, but on purpose. Can I interest you in a 10-minute documentary on the cringy Blackpool grime scene? Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's our free day. Tomorrow I'm working on the fish tank. So we might be able to like watch stuff while I work. Oh my god, Michael. What are you doing? He's in the box just sneezing. You can't see him. Uppies? Uppies? Oh wait, shit. I need to, wait, let's see. Okay, I had to tell Andrew to do something. We have to put the cat's food away. And I don't want to yell into the mic because it's really loud. But I guess it doesn't go that bad. I forgot that I have mic settings here. Anyways. Dari says, this will feature some of the best British makeup looks you've ever seen. Okay, tomorrow. Is it going to be better? What was that one British show where they literally gave people like an entire makeover to make them look different than they did? So it'd be like people who have like these sick tattoos and like outfits and stuff like that. They could be goth and they make them look like a basic British bitch, you know? Oh, he's so cute. Oh, my little pussy meow meow. I love him. Do you remember that show? You're British. You should know this show. There's something with Gokwan? No. What is the British? You are so distracting, by the way. But we kind of already talked about it. Or Trini and Susanna. I don't know their names. Show with hers and digital. No. Thing. No, it's not Trini, Susanna, and Dress. Is it? It's not Snog, Marry, Kill. They've been on air for like 80 years since the telly came out. They've been trying to get people to dress normally. Makeover. Thousands. Is this it?
Are you ready to hear Pod's verdict?
It is Snog, Marry, Avoid. That's the show. It was so good.
Go on then.
It was so good. I ate that shit up when I was younger. I love British TV. I was like, yes. That's why I'm kind of bitchy. You know, it's just I watched too much of it when I was younger. I was like Skins. I was on British like Tumblr. All of my online friends were like European. And I was like, I was so into it. It was so fucking good. Yeah, Snog, Marry, Avoid. They were kind of mean though. But they didn't talk about weight that much, which was really nice. Why were you on our Tumblr? Because it was better than American stuff. I mean, everyone was on like the same Tumblr technically. But it was better than American shit. We're getting so sidetracked. It's fine. We already covered most of what I wanted to. I thought you guys would talk more. That's okay. Yeah, no, Tumblr, British Tumblr was the best. Because most of American Tumblr was like Sherlock Holmes, Doctor Who, like really into that stuff. And I was like, no. Scottish Twitter is basically the evolution of UK Tumblr. I know. And it was so much better because the content was just more like realistic, I guess, because the average American content was so like, especially YouTubers and stuff like that, like Zoella, you know, we've talked about her, and Alfie, they were super popular. There was this one workout dude that was like from Ireland that was really chill too. No, it doesn't count, but yeah. Daria says they recently found out there's black people in Scotland are getting very annoyed by English people trying to spoil the fun for Americans again. What does that mean? Can you, like, explain that to me in English? Because I'm confused. Like, what are you implying here? Keep in mind, I'm tired as fuck. My brain is deep fried today. I've had a headache all day. Mainly because my coworker was just like, it was about stuff I don't care about, so I was like, and then he just kept talking to me, and I was like, you know? I also stayed up late playing Peak. It's so freaking addictive. Can't help it. Black Americans have recently discovered there's black people in Scotland who speak with a Scottish accent. And it's like amazing to... Oh my god! What were they expecting? I don't know. Yeah, and they've also found out why Scots hates the English. No, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed why everyone hates the English? And as the English are just like, yeah, of course there's black people in Scotland. What's wrong with you? Yeah. It's like when a white person lives in China and grows up in China their whole life, especially in like northern China, where it's like really close to the Russian border. There's more white people, especially northwestern China. There's like more of a mixture of just like your stereo, like it doesn't look like what people think of when they hear Chinese, right? Not trying to be racist, just saying like the thing, right? I don't think that's racist, but you know, people are like, well, why do they have an accent? And it's like, why the fuck do you think? Why wouldn't they? Because they're from there. But then that's just a whole thing. It's very funny. I can find a safer word clip. Bruh. Okay, wait, let me get the audio for you.
So earlier I made a video about Black Americans and Black Scottish people just having these friendly interactions on TikTok. And you know, because this is the internet, positive things can't
I'll
stay
listen to it
positive
with
for
you.
too long. The negativity
I don't
just
want to
had
show
to
my
rear
account,
its
so we're
ugly
just gonna
head.
stay like
And
this.
who wants to take a wild guess as to where the negativity is coming from? It's coming from England. Obviously, it's not everybody. This isn't directed to like everybody in England. But to the ones who it applies to, why are y'all like that? Like, damn, y'all see us having a good time, and that just, it just made your assholes itch or something, because y'all just had to get on here and just do what y'all do. Oh, those Americans, they're so stupid. They're so self-centered. Of course, black Scottish people exist. There's black people outside of America. Your education, Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I know black people exist everywhere, bitch, but I've never seen a black Scottish person before. I wasn't shocked that they exist. It was just different seeing them. Okay, I don't know what y'all want me to say. We don't get black Scottish representation in our media. And this is my first time seeing them on TikTok, too. That guy was talking about the weather, and it ended up on my FYP. I don't know why. And then some of y'all were mad because we keep calling them cousins. That's how we talk. Like, when we see other black people, we be like, hey, cousin. It's like a family reunion thing. It's really an American thing, but even with that, that goes to show that y'all are just as ignorant about us as we are about you. Like, y'all don't know everything, especially when it comes to us. We found a group of black people who we don't normally interact with, and now we're interacting with them, and it's been mostly positive. I've only seen 3 negative videos about this, and all 3 of those people were from England. So do with that what you will. Listen, it's okay to enjoy things, I promise. Take the stick out of your ass and calm the fuck down.
Me too, bro. Me fucking too. Me fucking too. I don't know. Sometimes it's really funny to me that, like, meow meow. Sometimes it's really funny to me when people are exposed to things here in America that normally they wouldn't be exposed to, and they kind of freak out. Oh, well, Americans meet Scots, and of course the English get in there to wreck it. It's so funny. The English are like, hey, no, I'm the captain. And then we're just like, not anymore, bitch. My is so needy right now, y'all. You see his butt. Why do cats do that? Like, when you scratch their butt, they just do this. It's a miscellaneous day, y'all. I should have had more planned, but then anything else would have taken a while. Please don't. Please stop. Sir. Oh, the English and American black communities will fight over anything. Oh. So, as you can see, I'm white as fuck, so I have no comment. I have no comment. I'm too white to comment on that. Fair enough. Yeah. He agrees. I don't know. I feel like the only thing I can comment on is, like, I feel like I don't get a comment on really anything. It's a long-standing thing and extremely amusing. Wait. I guess racism is, like, dealt with differently here in America than other countries, because America's history with racism is not great. Not great. What happened to slaves here was very fucked up. People would eat black people. Like, it was fucking crazy. Just so you know. So yeah, it's the only thing I've noticed, or at least I've heard mentioned a lot, was how it's very different in other countries because of that. But I don't know. Maybe other countries do that too, and I just don't know about it. So there's, like, straight up recipe books for, like, people eating black children. It's really fucked up. I saw it when I was in the South, and it made me cry. But Hannibal Lecter would have loved it. There's a new kind of group called Foundational Black Americans that picks fights with black communities in Africa and Europe, and it's mainly fun. But like anything, it can go too extreme. I have a question. Actually, no, I don't. I feel, my personal opinion, I'm too white for this conversation. I'm too white for this. Oh, the only thing I really know about Black culture, I'm kidding, not the only thing, but one of the most prominent things I've learned recently about Black culture in Britain, I guess, or the UK, is Dave. You know, the rapper Dave? So fucking good. Literally so good. Yo, Dave, I know, and everyone's heard of Dave besides me, apparently. Ugh, it made me so upset. I heard both sides of a smile, and I was like, what the fuck? That was wild, right? I did not see him at Glastonbury. You see, I'm very much in Nebraska. And I've been off of like British stuff for a while. But my friends who are like from other countries will be like, hey, have you heard of this? This is really good. And I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? How have I never heard of this? But he's so good. He is so good. He's got a 14-year-old on stage to do the Diego Silva song. Are you serious? And this kid was off his head on ketamine. Bruh. And produced one of the greatest performances of all time. Elon Musk is jealous. Elon Musk wished he could perform that well on ketamine, honestly. Are you sending me the link, yo? Wait. Oh, he's like young as fuck. And he has like the little hat. Oh, chat. I recommend watching this. Man, this was like 6 years ago. Fuck. Dave, do you know the lyrics? Alex, yes, do you? Apparently he did really good, according to the comments. I'll have to watch it, because I'm low-key like a fan of Dave now. I know. I wish more like American rappers collaborated with British rappers. We've seen like a little bit of it, but it's good. It's good. It's so much better now. Hi, don't give me that stink face. He wants more pets, so he's gonna be like, it's so cute. But no, I only have so much time in the day, and you guys are like, watch this thing, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay. Shit. So I'll be multitasking all day, every day. I'm like, you can't see, but I was like going crazy on my keyboard. I was like, wait, I'll do it like this. You know? But yeah. It's so good. Wait, what's your favorite Dave song? Both Sides of a Smile is my favorite. I've heard like 5 of his songs now. Oh, this is cool. He's off his head, 14 and headlining at Glastonbury. Diego Silva, obviously. Okay. Vibes. I can't believe he got like a kid on ketamine on. Was it confirmed that he was on ketamine? It's fucking crazy. I think he might have admitted it, but everyone's on stuff at Glastonbury. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess in other countries they're more lax with that stuff. Here in America,
Food's about ready.
food's about ready. Yay! I have to go eat soon. I don't know. I never really did anything like that. I have fear. I live in fear. I'll show you. I'm also afraid of ketamine. Isn't that for horses? I don't know. The horse thing is like what gets me. I don't know. If I'm like, it's for another animal, so like, why would I do it? Listen to Funky Friday by Dave. That's a good one. Yeah, I liked his like, I don't know. Two sides, like both sides of a smile was really good. I feel like he needs to do more like songs like that. IMO, because it was so creative. It was so good. It was like when Swamp Princess, when she released her latest album and like everyone was losing their goddamn minds because she made it like old school rap, which was good. You know Stormzy? Stormy baby! Hi, Stormy baby! He's like king of grime. No, no. You really like grime, don't you? Good, born in 1993. Holy fuck. He's wearing a bulletproof vest with the... That's actually kind of funny. I'll send the link in chat. I'm so on grime. The thing is that it's the soundtrack to a lot of banging parties, so the songs become iconic to me. Oh, so are you a little party rat? Are you bumping that? Bumping that, bumping that, bumping that? Don't get mad at me. Bumping that? I'm so sorry. Hey, he has normal nipples too. Some dudes, they have nipples that they're like looking a little like cockeyed, you know? It's like Pennywise eyes where it's like you can't make eye contact with the nipples, and I get concerned when you got like two eyes looking at me and I can't look into one of them, you know? That actually sounds mean. If you have a lazy eye, that's okay. I guess you can't really control your nipples much either. I don't know, I just think it's weird when they're like, whoop. And I'm not talking like a little bit like, bloop. I'm talking like, bloop. It's because their boobies too big. It's not even a big thing, is it? Well, I guess it kind of is. I don't know. I need to move on. Darius says drill's kind of taken over, which is the same thing as Chicago scene. I know. Drill music is okay. And people get mad because they're like, I love drill. I feel like I'm too white to talk about this. But like I listen to like most music and I try to understand a lot of what's going on. Drill was really, really popular like 5 years ago, honestly, is when it started getting more popular. 3 years ago is when it hit mainstream. And nowadays, it's not as popular here. It is still pretty popular, but ever since Kendrick did ever since the whole new age era that happened last year, it's been different. Darius says Stormzy has a song where he told Boris to fuck off when he was prime minister. It was so cool. Yeah. I don't know. I love like hearing different like music artists and stuff. I don't listen to as much music. I mean, I do, but I don't, because it's when I'm doing homework and stuff, it's really distracting, and I'm like, he's so lame, Kendrick. I don't see the appeal. I'm like West Coast. I'm not part of the rap battle or anything like that, obviously, but like I like West Coast rap a little bit more. A little more, just my opinion. That's my opinion. Yeah, I actually kind of like Kendrick. I think Kendrick's a little bit of a douchebag. But, like, how could you not be? He's a little cocky bitch. And he deserves to be cocky, though. Like, I respect someone being cocky if they are, like, deserving of being cocky. Like, if you can put your money where your mouth is, then yeah, by all means, be a cocky bitch. And I will actually like you being cocky because of it. Because it's like confidence, you know? Like, if you can do it, then say you can fucking do it. Don't just sit there and be like, maybe I can do it, maybe I can't. No. I like Nas a lot, but he's early East Coast, yeah. I've often wanted to remake the Trojan War in a 90s rap setting. That'd be impressive. Oh no, I was like, I gotta go, because Andrew just finished food. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Man, I'm just like thinking about, rap is so different now than like the rap I listened to growing up. My older brother listened to a lot of rap music. So I'd just sit there and I'd be like, okay. But anywho, George, watch some Stormzy and that 14-year-old Dave. If I have time, y'all have so much stuff you want me to watch. It's like in the queue. I need to make like another channel in Discord. They'll just be like, things you want me to watch. Because I lose track of everything and I don't always have my computer. And we queue jump here. Maybe. If I'm like, if I'm gaming or something, I might do it. But I don't know if I'm gaming tonight. I might be, but I probably won't be. Okay, but I got to go, loves. I got to go. Oh, just right as the ad break happens. I'm so sorry. I thought I canceled it. George says good night. Oh, good night, George. So, right, it's bedtime, or am I going to listen to music all night? I don't know. Have a good one, though. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please, I don't know, tomorrow we're probably going to work on the fish tank and just hang out and chill. So, sleep well, stay safe, stay alive, and toots.